Hello everyone, and welcome back to another 1v1 cast on Domination on Warhammer 3. Today we have an interesting matchup between the forces of Nurgle and the Kislev forces. So let's take a look at the armies. So Kislev is bringing Tsarina Katerin, backed up by 2 units of Wind Hussars, or rather Lancers. As well as at the front line is the Armoured Corsairs with the great weapons and the Spear variant. And that's it for the Kislev forces. For the Nurglings, or rather the Nurgle forces, we have the Herald of Nurgle on the Plague Drone. As well as that, we have I guess it's a Rotfly, right? Yeah, it's a Rotfly rather. And we have 2 units of Rotflies. As well as the front line is just Nurglings, some Plague Toads. We do have some Spawn of a Nurgle. Spawn of Nurgle. I don't often see these actually, at least in the few games I've watched with Nurgle. And then 2 units of Chaos Furies. So that is everything. Now the Herald itself does have the Locus of Fecundity, which it does give you that heals. The Stream of Corruption, which is a breath spell. Very good against your battle lines, and Abundancy for more heals. Nurgle forces are all about those AoE heals. Those heals again, you want to maybe keep your forces consolidated, especially considering how slow they are. And Katerin herself, she has the Heart of Winter to reduce their speed, which, to be honest with you, can you really make Nurgle forces even slower than they are? Well, Katerin's going to try at least. She has, as well as the Ice Sheet, really just want to slow down those Nurglings. And Frostfang. So we interested to see what happens in this matchup. Let's get to the normal speed. So we have the Rotflies here coming around the flanks of the Kislev forces. Both sides just seemingly fighting over the center here. You have Katerin just running around the front lines. We have the Chaos Furies on the other side, other flank there for the Nurglings. Reinforcements arriving from the Nurglings in the sense of Plague Toads. Plague Toads can definitely do some work in melee, but yeah, we'll see how they do. And the first set of reinforcements for the Kislev forces are some more Winter Lancers. The Kislev forces feel like they need those devastating charges against the Nurgling forces, or maybe just the speed in general to try and get around the map and get away from the Nurglings or the Nurgle forces. And more horses, Kosovo dervishes. Yeah, really utilising the speed against the Nurglings in this game. I keep calling them Nurglings. I mean Nurgle forces, but of course they do have some Nurglings in here. So now the Kislev forces are moving on to the point now. It hasn't unlocked yet. Well, another minute. We do have the Herald and the Rotflies lingering about, but the Rotflies actually have gone quite deep into the flank. We do have some spawning here. It is some Nurglings this time. I am correct here. On the other side, some more Nurglings. So the Nurglings are just going to run to the point, try and hold the points, or cap it, then hold it, perhaps. Nurgle forces are very good at defending objectives, not too good at being on the offensive because how slow they are. But I think the Plague Toads just get really munched up by those range of the Cossars. But the other units are doing a lot better. But here comes the charge of the Winged Lancers. Not going to do too much against these Plague Toads. Not really what they're kitted out for. But now the Plague Drones are coming on in from the flank. They're going to try and get onto those Cossars with the bows. One of the Plague Toads looking to have been taken out. The spawn of Nurgle are in here. Now the Chaos Furies have jumped on into the combat, but they aren't having a good time. We do have reinforcements of some more spawn of Nurgle. These are the Unbreakable units, remember? So they can hold the line, maybe, against the onslaught. Now the Plague Drones are coming on in. Plague Drones jumping onto the Kosovo dervishes and the Cossars, but we do have more Winged Hussars coming on into the fight from the Kislev forces. We do see a magical spell from Katerina there. They are wavering the Cossars over here with the fighting engagement with the Furies and their Plague Toads. But now more winter lancers are coming in. Right now, the Kislev forces own the mid, but the flanks are held by the Nurglings and the Nurgle forces. We have more Kossars coming out as reinforcements, trying to get back into the center and hold it. The spawn of Nurgle slowly getting taken out, as well as the plague toads are wavering. In the meanwhile, we've got the plague drones doing some work on the flanks, but they're starting to waver now against the onslaught of the winged lancers. Some more reinforcements from the Nurgle forces that are forsaken of Nurgle. Forsaken of Nurgle aren't the worst unit ever. They can definitely do a lot of damage with their poison attacks. And with all this infantry, they have a lot of targets. But they have to be careful with the lancers. So the Herald coming on here to try and help out with the winged lancers here. Katarina trying to deal with the Nurglings that are on the point. And Warbear. Do you have some winged lancers going to deal with the Nurglings on the left side of the map? We'll see if they'll just ignore them or charge into them. More Nurgling forces getting taken out there. The winged lancers were caught out by the Nurglings. In the meanwhile, we do have more winged lancers going towards these Nurglings over here. Nice charge onto the Nurglings by the winged lancers, doing a lot of damage. Let's just slow it down for a little bit. I just want to have a little overview of everything that's happening. So we have the Herald of Nurgle in the big engagement here between loads of winged lancers. The Herald of Nurgle might want to consider trying to get out of there. Spawn of Nurgle coming on here from the reinforcements just get peppered down by arrows, but they're being unbreakable, means that they can still pose a threat to the back lines. As well as that, we have a Cultist of Nurgle. Well, the Cultist of Nurgle does have the Gate of Nurgle that can spawn in those Plague Bearers. As well as that, they have the Nurglings fighting Tsarina Katerin. And let's go back to full speed. We've got more winged lancers coming in into the left side of the map, or rather the right side of the map here, in this perspective. And even more Kossars coming to the left side of the map. So the Kislev force is really trying to get on the flanks, trying to make sure that the Nurglings just aren't going to hold the points, because Nurgle forces are very slow. So if they're engaging all their forces in the center trying to cap this point, then the winged lancers of the Kislev forces can just go around the flanks and hold them. You don't necessarily have to engage the fights with the Nurgle forces if you can just cap the zones and keep them at bay. We do have some Plague Bearers spawned in by the Cultists chasing down these Kossars. And the Herald of Nurgle seemingly getting taken out. The Herald of Nurgle is.
The enemy has slain our lord.
There we go, he dies. But Katarina is not in a great situation either. The Cultists dropping some magic abilities onto her, or maybe it was the Herald of Nurgle. She is poisoned right now and sundered armor. This must be very bad engagement by Katerin. It looks like she's going to get taken out. So both the lords of both sides getting taken out. With those winged lancers coming on in, maybe she won't get taken out. Maybe the Cultists and the Nurglings will get taken out beforehand. It looks to be the Tsarina actually being saved last second by the host of winged lancers. But the right side has been taken by the Kislev forces, as well as the left again capped. You can't actually see the damage dealt or the amount of units left in the replay system. I hope they add that so I can see, or maybe just so much seen from the perspective of whoever sends in the replay. I'd love to see like an overview. But I guess with the replay system, it's a bit different. Anyway, so let's have a look at things. Right now, it's not looking good for the Nurgle forces. They have broken these winged lancers, though, with the rock flies. Quite a fast unit in the Nurgle roster. One of the few fast units they have. To have the Cultists of Nurgle trying to just walk past casually, past those winged lancers. With pox ridden, maybe those winged lancers don't want to touch them because with all those poxes. Looking really in favour right now for Nurgle, but with the combat mechanic probably already in effect now, the Kislev forces definitely are earning more points than the Nurgles. Don't have that much on the field for the Nurgle forces. We do have some rockflies on the toads and the more Nurglings on the right, as well as those other rockflies here. But remember, flying creatures cannot cap zones, so they may be the fastest units that the Nurglings forces have, but they can't cap. They can do a lot of damage though. So you've got Nurglings coming in and Plague Toads just kind of pile up over here. So this is a great way of kind of locking down the map, or locking down possibly the winning with Nurgle forces. When you know you've lost a zone, you're not going to be able to just, you know, be around the map with how slow your forces are generally. So you're going to pile all your forces up on this one side and hold, and hope that this is enough for the win. But so far it's not looking too good. Maybe the advantage that the Nurgling forces had was not enough. You have the Corsairs trying to fire at these rockflies. Let's have a look then. So we do have the Nurglings and the spawn of Nurgle trying to deal with the Winged Lancer charges. But now we have the Warbear Riders on the field, getting around the infantry of Nurgle and going straight towards the right side of the flag. Right side of the map, rather. Can the Nurgle forces hold this point? We shall see. Tsarina Katarina just staying on the map. Very little life. Those Cossars are just firing from the hill onto these Plague Toads. More reinforcements from the Kislev forces. A lot of Cossars coming out now. And some Streltsy. Our first unit of Streltsy on the field. These are the more armoured units of the Kislev forces. More elite infantry. Seems that the Kislev forces are kind of piling around this reinforcement point of the Nurgle forces, so they can't just outright spawn anything without getting impacted.
One of your units has been destroyed.
We are only 1,000 points till a Nurgle victory, but we're with the Kislev forces just gaining double the points. They may be able to catch up. We do have more rockflies coming out. Quite a good choice, you know. They can't get charged by these Kislev forces, so they can just get around, be a nuisance. But I do like how the Kislev forces are using the range attacks of the Cossars. Oh, these are actually some Griffin Legion here. Probably the most elite cavalry of the Kislev forces. You don't actually often see these guys. Quite expensive. You usually see a lot of winged lancers like we have been seeing. But when you know you're against Nurgle, you want to get a lot of speed. Speed really does wonders versus Nurgle because of how slow their units generally are. But with the Nurgling forces, they realise that they may be able to get countered by a lot of rain to bring up these rockflies. Got the Griffin Legion just kind of playing around with charge. They're going to charge right into these Chaos Furies. Trying to defend these Cossars. You have some rockflies now locking into these Griffin Legion. They are getting poisoned, but the Streltsy and the Cossars are moving on up now with the reinforcing winged lancers. These rockflies don't seem to be staying on the field for much longer. Now the big engagement coming on in now. Big charges from the winged lancers into the Nurgle forces, as well as those Patriarch for the heals in there. Is it double Patriarch? It looks to be double Patriarch actually. Loads of damage though onto those winged lancers. We do see the speed reduction from Catherine dropped on. Or maybe that's the Frostfang ability. I think it's Heart of Winter though.
One of your units has been destroyed.
More charges coming on into the Nurgle forces, but they just have to hold the point. But maybe this isn't enough. We are only 300 odd points away from a Nurgle victory, but with the Nurgle forces slowly dropping, they have decided to go straight for this left flag. A very nice choice with all the forces of the Kislev on the right side of the map, but with all the speed they have, maybe that isn't enough. We're not that far off. They just need to get X zone. It's going to be very hard though, because Nurgle's forces do not at all do well capping, like, attacking zones. But with our little forces that are here, maybe they can cap it in time. We've got Plague Toads, 2 units of Plague Toads, and Nurgle is trying to run that fast as possible to those Kossars. But again, with all this cavalry, maybe they can get there in time. But they have to realize maybe these are too distracted. Maybe they don't even notice these coming out, especially with the forests.
One of your units has been destroyed.
They know it's coming in here now. Will the reinforcements make it in time? We just need 40 points for a Nurgle victory, but it looks to be a victory for the Kislev forces. GG to both players. Let's go take a look at the armies. Okay, so let's have a look. So the Herald of Nurgle actually did quite a lot of damage. Did kind of get locked into combat with all those cavalry units though. Rothfly is doing alright. Some decent damage, but they kind of did die. The Furies though, the Furies did very well with 90 kills and 55. And those Plague Toads just kind of got peppered down very quickly. In terms of the reinforcements for the forces of Nurgle, we see that the second unit spawn Nurgle did very well. The cultists didn't do too much. Honestly, not a lot of kills altogether. Mostly just trying to hold there. And looking at the Kislev forces, kind of the same. The Katarin did a lot of damage as well as the Lancers. Mostly just kind of holding. And in terms of the reinforcements, lots of kills in the Winged Lancers and the Griffin Legion. And yeah, overall, not that extreme amount of kills. I mean, I guess you could expect that with Nurgle forces. But GG to both players. Honestly, a great game. Very close indeed. And I definitely look forward to doing more casts in the future. And if you are new to the channel, I do focus on my casts and overviews and such. If you like that sort of content, do consider subscribing and liking the videos. And I shall see you again next time. Bye bye.